Hey guys, welcome to our classroom here at KCFR. We're at the Joe Delafield Training Center, and just like you guys, we have to spend time in class as well. In fact, firefighters, we have to do 240 hours of training every year. So we spend a fair amount of time in class just like you guys. In fact, I have my crew here so that I have somebody to talk to, make it a little bit easier. This is a new program for us, doing all this virtually. So please bear with us. And unfortunately, Firefighter Kaplan says he's got a face for radio, and so we're going to keep the camera focused up here. They didn't want to be on camera today. Now, I want to take some time. We're going to talk to you guys about some very, very important things. But first, I want to ask you a question. I want to know, who is a hero to you? I want you to give me an example of a hero. My definition of a hero, and the one that I'd like you to learn, is a hero is someone who does what is right, even when it's hard. Someone who does what is right, even when it's hard. So I want you to say that with me, all together in class. Someone who does what is right, even when it's hard. Now, do the funny little hand thing. Someone who does what is right, even when it's hard. Now, you guys are third graders, and I want you to know that you are not too young to be a hero. As long as you do what is right, even when it's hard. Now, as third graders, I hope you guys still like stories. And I'm going to take the opportunity to tell you a story about a third grader who became a hero because they did what was right, even when it's hard. Now, this third grader lived here in Post Falls, and it was like any other evening. This particular third grader was in their room, and they were coloring, and it got towards the end of the night, and the parents came in, and they said, "Yo, time for bed." I don't know if that's how they say it. That's just how I tell my children to go to bed. But anyway, that third grader said, "Okay, time to go." And they got up, pushed their coloring sheets to the side, and went in to brush their teeth for the full 60 seconds, right? I'd be willing to bet all of you do it for all 60 seconds when you brush your teeth. Now, after they brushed their teeth, they came back in, got in their pajamas, and went to bed. Now, what did that third grader do with those papers? Did they put them away like they're supposed to? Or did they act like any other normal third grader and just leave them on the floor stuffed against the wall? Well, I can tell you, because I've had two third graders come through my house, that they probably just left them there against the wall. So they shoved those papers against the wall, and unfortunately in this house they had baseboard heaters. They're little electric heaters that sit along the bottom of the wall and keep us warm at night. Well, in Post Falls during the wintertime it gets cold. So in the middle of the night, that heater kicked on. Well, it had paper up against it, and we know that it takes three things to make fire. Three things. First, it takes heat. Second, it takes oxygen. And third, it takes fuel. Now, did we have all three of those present? Absolutely. First, we had heat. What provided the heat? You're right, it was the heater. Second, did we have fuel? Yes, the papers, the coloring papers that got shoved against the wall, that was the fuel. And was there oxygen in the room? Well, I would hope so, because this third grader was breathing. Now, in the middle of the night, the heater kicked on, we had all three things present for a fire, and unfortunately, a fire started in the room. Now, what I need to do is send it over to Firefighter Tony, and he's going to talk to you about what to do if your smoke alarms start to go beep, beep, beep. Time out. All right, guys, I want you to look at your outline, and we are going to answer questions 1, 2, and 3 on your outline. For number 1, I want you to give me 3 examples of a hero. So for me, my favorite superhero is Superman, and he's by far the best, I know. If you disagree, it's okay. But that would be one example. So I want you to give me 3 examples of a hero. For number 2, I want you to explain to me what a hero is. I want you to give me a definition. So in your own words, explain to me What is a hero? What makes Superman a hero? Okay, and then for number 3, I want you to write down, according to Firefighter Tony in the video, a hero is someone who does what is even when it's... Now, if you need some extra time to fill out the answers, go ahead and pause the video now. But the video is going to start again in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, so let's go back and let's continue that story about the 3rd grader and the coloring. Now, we had all 3 things present for fire, right? And fire went up, and what does fire make? Fire makes smoke. And so the fire creates the smoke starts to go up. Why does smoke go up? Right, fire is hot and so is the smoke that comes off of it. So in a room, fire will start down close to the ground. It produces smoke. The smoke starts to go up towards the ceiling, and it's going to hit the ceiling. And it's actually going to start to fill the room from the top down. It's like an upside down glass of water. You know, you fill water at home all the time. You turn the faucet on, put the water underneath it or the glass underneath it, and the water starts to fill up from the bottom up. A fire is no different except for it's upside down. So the smoke goes up, hits the ceiling, goes across the ceiling, and then starts to fill the room from the top down. Now, what do we have in our house that can protect us? Right, we have smoke alarms. They're these funny little white things that sit up on the ceiling. Now, we need to have smoke alarms in every room, outside of every sleeping area, and on every level of the home in order to protect us completely. Now, the 3rd grader definitely had a smoke alarm up on the ceiling. The smoke from the fire went up the wall, hit the ceiling, and it hit this smoke alarm. Now, smoke alarms, their job is to be a giant sniffer. Well, where's your sniffer? It's right here. Okay, so we're going to do a little experiment. What I want you to do is when I say go, I want you to take the biggest, most giantest sniff ever and hold it as long as you possibly can. Are you ready? 1, 2, 3. Hold it, keep holding it, hold it. Okay, let it out. Good job. Now that you have clean airways, let's talk about why that is important. Smoke alarms sniff 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, all the time, never take a break. You took the biggest sniff you possibly could and only lasted maybe 3, 4, 5 seconds. So, smoke alarms sniff for smoke. Fire makes smoke, smoke goes up the wall, hits the smoke alarm, and if that happens, it's gonna make it go beep, beep, beep. It's gonna sound something like this. Here we go. Now, if you hear that sound, you have 2 jobs. Your job is to get out and stay out. If your smoke alarm goes beep, 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 your job is to get out and stay out. Can you say it with me? Get out and stay out. Now I want you to say it loud enough that the classroom next door can hear you. Get out and stay out. Sorry, teachers, that's my fault. Now, if your smoke alarm goes beep, 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 your job is to get out and stay out, and I'm going to turn it over to Firefighter Tony and his son Luke to teach you how to do that correctly. Thank you, Firefighter Tony. Well, Firefighter Tony is here at my own home with my son Luke. And what we're going to do is we're going to talk about what to do if your smoke alarms start to go beep, beep, beep. You've got to know what to do in a very big hurry, but remember, we want to do what is right, even if it's hard. So, you ready, Luke? Here we go. Ready? Go to sleep. You got to quit laughing. Okay, go to sleep, stay. Now, if Luke's asleep in the middle of the night and his smoke alarms start to sound like this, maybe, here we go. All right, so smoke alarms are going off. He's got 2 jobs. His job is to get out and stay out. Now, first thing is he's got to get low and stay under the smoke. Ready, Luke? Get up. get low on your hands and knees, and first place he's gonna go is to his door. So Luke's gonna crawl to his door, and then he's gonna feel it first, because we don't wanna just fling that door open, right? So he's gonna reach out and feel it with the back of his hand. If it's nice and cool, then Luke's gonna peek to make sure that there's no fire between him and the fastest way out of his house, and then he's gonna stay low under the smoke and crawl all the way to the fastest place out of his house, yelling, "Fire! Fire! Fire!" So in this case, Luke's fastest way out of the house is actually out the back door. Now, it's raining outside, so I'm not actually gonna make him go outside. So good job, Luke. You ready to go back? All right, Luke, come, let's go. All right, so Luke is gonna get back into his room, and he's gonna go back to bed, because now we've gotta talk about scenario number 2. All right, for scenario number 2, same rules. Ready? Go to sleep, stay. Smoke alarm's gonna go beep, beep, beep. It's gonna sound something like this. Anytime our smoke alarms are going off, we have 2 jobs. Our job is to get out and stay out. So Luke's gonna wake up, he's gonna stay low, because clean air is down here, smoke is up here. He's gonna crawl to the door. What does he do first time he gets to the door? You're right, he's gonna reach out and feel it. Go ahead, feel it. Ouch, this time it's hot. Well, if the door is hot, do we wanna just check outside to see if there's a fire on the other side? No, we know there's a fire on the other side. So this time, we cannot open the door, but we want to make sure we keep as little smoke coming into our room as possible. So Luke's going to take that blanket that he forgot to put away. This is the one time it's okay to not clean your room, kids. So he's going to grab the blanket, and he's going to stuff it at the bottom of the door the best that he can to keep smoke from coming in his room. Now, that's a good job. Now, once he has it there, we've got to figure out how else can we get out of the room. If you can't go out your door, what's another place that he can go? You're right, the window. Now, does he want to get up and walk, or should he stay low? You're right, he should stay low. So Luke's gonna crawl all the way to the window. Now, if he lives on the first floor like he does, his bedroom right now is on the first floor, and it's safe to go out his window, then he's gonna open his window, he's gonna bust out the screen, and then he's gonna jump out the window and go to his family's meeting place. Now, my boys know that if we have a fire at our house, go ahead and leave it open, buddy. Go ahead and go back to bed. Go to bed. Stay. Now, my boys know that if we have a fire in our house and they go out the backyard, our family meeting place is in the big tree in the corner of the yard, because there's not really enough space to sneak by the house to get out to the front if our house is truly on fire. So they're gonna wait by the big tree in the backyard. If they go out the front door, Luke, where's our meeting place? The mailbox. So they know if they go out the front door, their job is to meet us at the mailbox. So you and your family have to come up with your own meeting place. This is something you need to discuss before the emergency actually happens. All right, so now we got to do scenario number 3. All right, you ready, Luke? Go to sleep. Stay. Now, for scenario number 3, same thing. Middle of the night, Luke's sleeping, smoke alarm starts to go beep, beep, beep. And anytime our smoke alarm goes beep, 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 we have 2 jobs. Our job is to get out and stay out. So Luke's gonna wake up, he's gonna get out of bed, he's gonna stay low on his hands and knees to stay in the fresh air, out of the smoke. He's gonna crawl to the door, and then when he gets to the door, first thing that we do is he reaches out to feel it. Ouch, it's hot. Once it's hot, we know we can't go out that door. There's a fire on the other side. So we want to keep as little smoke as possible coming into the room. So he's going to take that blanket that he didn't clean up. He's going to stuff it under the door. Now, if he can't go out his door, what's the next place we try? The window. So to get to the window, Luke's going to stay low under the smoke. He's going to crawl to the window. Go, go, go. He's going to crawl to the window. Now, for scenario number 3, we're gonna pretend that we live on the 3rd floor, or it's just unsafe for him to go out the window. Like there's a bunch of spikes under the window. I don't know why there'd be spikes. This is my story. You're just listening to it. Now, it's unsafe for him to go out this window. So, if he can't go out his door and he can't go out his window, is he kind of stuck? Yeah, he's kind of stuck. And it's going to be a little bit scary. But as long as we do what is right, even though it's hard, that can make us a hero in this situation. Now, if you can't go out your door and you can't go out your window, Firefighter Tony's going to tell you to stay right under the window, or at least as close to the window as you can get against the outside wall. Now, the reason why I want you to do that is because if we show up as firefighters to your house and somebody meets us in the driveway and they say, my son or daughter is stuck up there in that window, the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to get a ladder, we're going to throw it to that window, we're going to crawl up the ladder, open the window, and if you listen to Firefighter Tony, where are we going to find you? Right under the window. We just pick you up and we gone. We don't even have to come in and find you. So, if you can't go out your door and you can't go out your window, where should we find you? Right under the window, or as close to the window as we can get. Now, when you're under the window, I want you to stay nice and low, because what's down here? Clean air. What's up here? Smoke. Now, Luke is doing a really good thing. He's got his flashlight and he's going to be flashing it into the window. If you have a flashlight or lights or some way to make a lot of noise or just yell, help! However you need to do it, just make as big of noise or a visual ruckus as you can so that we know that you're there. And then we're going to come get you. You can go ahead and turn it off now. Well done, kid. Turn it off. Okay, now, if your house is on fire, your smoke alarms are going off, you have 2 jobs. Your job is to get out and stay out. Now, you need to make sure you have that family meeting place, right? My boys know to go to the tree in the backyard, or in the front yard, they go to the mailbox. You and your family have to make that decision for yourselves. Now, we have one rule if your house is on fire. One rule. And that rule is that you can never, ever, 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 ever hide. You can never hide. You can't hide in your closet. You can't hide under the bed. And you surely should not hide in your fish tank. Okay? So if your house is on fire, your smoke alarms are going off, your job is to get out and stay out as long as you can do it safely. And if you can't go out your door and you can't go out your window, then we should find you right under the window or as close to it as you can get. So I'm going to send it back to Firefighter Tony right now, and thank you for learning what to do when your smoke alarms are going beep, beep, beep. Time out. All right, back to your outline. This time we're going to answer questions 4, 5, and 6. For number 4, I want you to write down if the smoke alarms in your house go beep, 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 your job is to, and you need to write those down. Okay, for number 5, when you're leaving your room, just like Luke did in the video, when your smoke alarms go beep, 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 as soon as you get to your door, what do you do first? Circle the right answer. And then for number 6, if you can't go out the door and you can't go out the window, firefighters should find you. Now, if you need extra time to write down your answers, pause the video now. Otherwise, the video is going to start in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Game on! All right, so let's keep going with our story with the 3rd grader. So now that you know how to get out of the room correctly, in this 3rd grader's story, the smoke went up the wall, hit the ceiling, went around, made the smoke alarm go beep, beep, beep. And this 3rd grader did exactly what he was supposed to do. He got low under the smoke. He crawled quickly over to the door, felt the door with the back of his hand, and was the door cool? Yeah, the fire started in his room. So the door was cool. He peeked outside. There was no fire, no smoke. And he got out of the house, and on his way out, he did exactly what he was supposed to do. He yelled, "Fire!" Now, when he yelled fire, he woke up the rest of his house. He went directly outside, went to the family's meeting place, but when he yelled fire, he woke up the rest of his family, and unfortunately, his smoke alarm was the only one in the house that worked. Now, by doing what was right, even when it was hard, that made him a hero that day. And with his smoke alarm being the only one in the house that worked, he woke up his sister and his parents, and everybody was able to get out of the house safely because he did what was right, even when it was hard, which made him a hero that day. And he's a third grader. So you are not too young to do the same thing. You need to practice so that you know what to do when it's scary and it's dark. But as long as you do what is right, even though it's hard, you too can be a hero and might save your family's lives. Thank you, Firefighter Tony. Well, we're here at my own personal home, and I want to take a second and talk to you about your smoke alarms. We talked to you about what to do on how to get out of your room if your smoke alarms are going beep, beep, beep. But now let's talk about how to make sure those smoke alarms are going to work. Smoke alarms will only work if they have what? Power, right? So we have a few different things that we need to talk about first. Let's talk about the batteries. So batteries have to be changed 2 times a year. How many times a year? 2 times a year. Now, the easy way that we remember it is that if you change your clocks, you change your batteries. You change your clocks, you change your batteries. That works out great because we change our clocks 2 times a year. And in fact, we're coming up on that here in the very near future this fall. Now, I want you to say it with me. If you change your clocks, you change your batteries. Change your clocks, change your batteries. Clocks, batteries. Clocks, batteries. Clocks, batteries. Clocks. Gotcha, you couldn't keep up. So, if you change your clocks, you change your batteries. So I want to show you on my smoke alarm where the batteries are located, okay? So you're going to have your parents, you get a step ladder or a ladder, and they come up and you're going to open up in here and you're going to pull out the little battery that's on the inside. Now, some smoke alarms have what's called a 10-year lithium battery, okay? And if they have the 10-year lithium battery, there is no place to put any small batteries like a 9-volt, or some smoke alarms have AA's in them. Now, if it does have a place for a battery, you need to change them how many times a year? 2 times a year. If you change your clocks, you change your batteries, okay? So you've got to do that. Now, smoke alarms also are only good for a certain amount of time. There's this thing called expiration. Do you know what it means to expire? What does it mean to expire? I want you to raise your hand and tell your teacher what you think it means to expire. Now, expire means it goes bad. It's kind of like the grilled cheese sandwich that you put inside a Tupperware and left in the back of the refrigerator for 6 months. It's green, it's pretty much a science experiment now. That grilled cheese is expired. It has gone bad. Well, your smoke alarms also go bad. Smoke alarms are only good for 10 years. 10 years. Show me with your hands. 10 years. Smoke alarms expire after 10 years. Well, that's awesome as long as you know what's the birthday of your smoke alarm. Did you know your smoke alarms have a birthday? I'm going to teach you how to find the birthday. Now, first thing I got to do is I got to take the smoke alarm off the ceiling. Some smoke alarms are going to have wires in the back, and we're going to talk about that in just a second. So I'm going to disconnect it from my system. Now, on the back of your smoke alarm, you will find the birthday of your smoke alarm. Mine was born in 2012. Well, how many years are smoke alarms good for? Smoke alarms are good for 10 years. So 2012 plus 10 is 2022. this smoke alarm is good until 2022. At that point, I need to throw it away and get a new one. If you take your smoke alarm off the ceiling and you find out that yours was born anytime before 2010, you need to throw yours away and get a new one. Okay, smoke alarms are only good for 10 years. Now, let's talk about the wires in the back. If you noticed, mine has wires and it's connected to all the other smoke alarms in my house. Do I still need to change the batteries in this? Absolutely. It's got a place for batteries, so I need to replace them. Some people get confused and they think that the wires in this means that it's a hardwired smoke alarm and you don't have to change the batteries. That is incorrect. One of the first things that's going to go out in a structure fire, or even some of the reasons structure fires happen, is the electricity in the house. So if the power goes out and you have not changed your batteries, is this thing going to work? Absolutely not. So even if there's wires, if there's a place for you to change the battery, you need to change the battery. Okay? So how long are smoke alarms good for? Smoke alarms are good for 10 years. How many times a year do we change the batteries? 2 times a year. If you change your clocks, you change your batteries. Okay? Now, I'm going to send it back over to Firefighter Tony. All right, sorry, third graders. We're going to have to take a timeout. Hey, Captain Asher, could you please stop talking in the back of the room there? We need the third graders to focus here. Captains, especially Captain Asher. Some things never change. Remember I said that we act like third graders? Sometimes it's true. Timeout. All right, guys, on your outline, this time we're going to answer questions 7, 8, and 9. So real quick, for number 7, if you need to change your, write that answer down. For number 8, how many years do smoke alarms last before they go bad? Like the cheese in your refrigerator? Write that answer down. And for number 9, where can you find the birthday of your smoke alarm? So if you need to pause the video to answer the questions, do it now. Otherwise, the video is going to start again in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Game on! All right, thank you, Firefighter Tony. Now, next thing we want to talk about is a very important thing that's getting talked about all across the nation, and it's called close before you doze. Now, close before you doze is pretty easy. All we got to do is close the door before we go to bed. Now, why is that important? Well, earlier you talked about a superhero, and maybe one of them carried a shield. So an example would be Captain America. He carries a shield. Well, what does a shield do for you? A shield is supposed to protect you. Okay, you can use it to defend against things, and in this case, it's no different with the door. In a house fire, that door can act like a shield to any fire that's outside of your room. A lot of fires start in the kitchen or in the furnace room. So if we have a fire that starts outside of the bedroom, that door will act like a shield and protect you, but only if it is closed. So at night, we gotta close that door before we go to bed. Now, I'd be willing to bet that a lot of you don't like that idea. How many of you currently sleep with your door closed? Go ahead and raise your hand. Okay, hands down. How many of you currently sleep with your door open? Raise your hand. Well, if you sleep with that door open, we need to talk about closing before you doze. I understand that it can be a little bit scary. Okay, I had third graders come through the house, like I said before, and they didn't necessarily like going to bed with the door closed either. However, the deal that I made with them, because this is so important, is that I would let them fall asleep with the door open, but before I went to bed, I would go and close that door before I went to sleep. So we knew that that door would act like a shield in the case of a fire. It can be a 900-degree difference. So you can have 100 degrees on this side of the door or 1,000 degrees on this side of the door. Which side of the door do you want to be on? You want to be on the 100-degree side. So we want to make sure that we close that door because it only works if the door is closed, and we want to close before we doze. We want to close before we doze. Now say it with me. Close before we doze. Do the funny little hand thing. Close before we doze. You're going to close, doze. Close, doze, close, doze. I beat you that time. Now, please have a discussion with your parents tonight about closing that door before you go to bed. And we're going to send it back out to Firefighter Tony to show you why it's important to close before you doze with that door being a shield.
All right, so you might wonder why we're standing out here at our training grounds with a door with smoke and stuff going above it. But what I wanted to do is take some time to prove to you that close before you doze works. Your door will act like a shield if there's a fire outside of your room as long as it is closed. It can be a 900-degree difference. On the clean side of the door, it could be as little as 100 degrees. On the other side of the door, it could be upwards of 1,000 degrees. Now, the other thing it'll do is it'll act like a filter. You'll see a lot of smoke kind of coming up towards the top of the door, and there's not much through the middle. So it'll act like a filter as long as the door is closed. Now, we've been taking a blowtorch to this door for quite a while now to make sure that it's good and hot, and it's still really clean on this side. I want you to be on the clean side of the door. The door will only act like a shield as long as it is closed. I want you on this side of the door. I do not want you on this side of the door. Time out. All right, guys, the last two questions on your outlines, number 10 and 11. In a fire, your door will act like as long as it is. Make sure you write those answers down. And for number 11, before you go to sleep or before your parents go to sleep, you need to do what with your door before you... Now, if you need extra time to write your answers down, pause the video now. Otherwise, the video is going to start again in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Oh man, you guys caught me. Shh, don't tell the chief I was riding the scooter in the classroom. Anyway, I want to tell you guys how you can win this scooter. Now, I sent home a homework assignment with your teachers. What I need you to do is take that homework assignment home. It's got a little letter on the back side, and I want you to read that letter with your parents. That letter says, "Dear parents and guardians." It does not say, "Dear third grade backpack." So you actually have to get the letter out, share it with your parents, and then on the back side, it talks about all the different things that we've talked about in this presentation. You get to become the teacher. So after that, you are going to do your smoke alarm check, and you're going to document it at the bottom of the homework sheet. So you're going to go with your parents because you got to be able to get to the smoke alarms, and you're going to pull the smoke alarm off the ceiling or whichever room you're in. Pull the smoke alarm down, check its birthday, write it down on the sheet of paper. Check whether or not it's working, and check the last time you changed the batteries. Write that down on your sheet of paper. You're going to do that for every smoke alarm in your home, and once you have all that written down, you put your name on it, your school, your teacher, and you turn it back into your teacher. I'll come around at the end of October, collect all those assignments, and if you don't want to do it on paper, this year we have the opportunity for you to do it online. There's a link on that letter. You can do all this information online, but it doesn't matter if you turn it in paper or if you turn it in online. You will be entered into a raffle of all the other third graders to win the scooter and a helmet, because anytime you're riding a scooter, you need to be wearing a helmet. Now, get your homework done. Teachers, I bet you wish you had a scooter to give away all the time too, but get your homework done, get it turned in. The raffle will occur in the very beginning part of November in the first couple of weeks, And if you're the lucky winner, we'll come give you the scooter at school.